What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I have my first ever channel update for you guys. We're going to be going over my 2022 year in review and also provide an outlook into 2023. We also have a massive change coming for the channel as well towards the end of the video, so let's get right into it. 2022 was an incredible year for the channel, to say the least. The channel gained a couple hundred new subscribers, 60,000 plus views, and we had several events happen this year. I'll be going over each month in a nutshell, discussing events in a broad manner. All videos referenced will show up on your screen, and links to them can be found in the description below this video. Starting off with January, I posted my first video, which was the plane spotting first aircraft of 2022 video, where I just saw a trio of aircraft fly over. All of them were pretty much wide bodies at this point, and one of them I think was like a business jet. Massive Unboxing number 10 came out not long after with a 6 model unboxing, including a 5 model order from Panda Fox Toys. Then I also uploaded the Gemini Jets 2021 year in review video, which I thought was a really neat idea. I don't think I'm going to do one for 2022, unfortunately, but if you do want to see that come back as sort of an annual series after this year, please let me know in the comments, because I know there was a lot of good reception over that video. Moving on to February, I did plan out a trip for Minneapolis. However, due to bad weather, this was postponed. The only other major highlight for this month was the American Eagle Emperor 175 that I'd ordered shortly after the Christmas holiday, arriving in from Panda Fox Toys. This was announced as part of the December 2021, January 2022 releases that Gemini Jets had. Moving on into March, we have our Minneapolis trip. It was rescheduled to March as there was a little bit more sufficient weather. It was still pretty cold, but at least there wasn't snow flying. Met a few folks up there at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport, just some buddies that I knew through other places. Made a trip over to Hub Hobby and DG Pilot where I did Massive Unboxing number 11. And that unboxing had approximately 11 models in it, so how fitting for Massive Unboxing number 11. In the midst of the chaos of all the Minneapolis content coming out, I did get my Delta Connection CRJ200, also had that Gemini Jets March 2022 releases video come out, the same day that I got the Delta RJ2. And then as we move on into April, we had the Foolish update, as I titled it, for Des Moines International Airport for April of 2022. Bit of a hilarious update that I decided to do. Me and Red River Aviation sort of collabed on that, as he did something similar, but we swapped our intros. So for any eagle eye observers that may have noticed that Connor was using my intro and I was using his intro, then you probably may have found it confusing at first, but it is kind of funny. So I don't know if we'll do something like that again in the future, but just keep an eye out. We may have something in the works in the future. Continuing on, we had various unboxings throughout the month. We had the North Central DC-950, and a couple new models arrive in shortly after the Easter holiday. I officially debuted the Retro FSD project with an August 2004 update. I didn't have an official name for it at the time, as I just simply called it the Retro Sioux Falls Airport series, but now it is known as Retro FSD. Uploaded the 70th plane spotting episode, over around in the middle of the month. And then also had a special Sioux Falls Airport update come out as well. After a couple of diversions arrived in, we had a 737 and some other fun stuff arrive in, just because that's what happens when bad weather hits Minneapolis. May didn't have anything too exciting. The only major highlights were just 2 new arrivals, the American Eagle CRJ 700 and Southwest Missouri 1. June, we officially kicked off summer, so the summer portion of the year was really big, really jam-packed, had a lot of exciting stuff. So we did have the 71st episode of Plane Spotting come out towards the start of the month. Throwback series came out throughout the month, just showcasing old clips that I had stored on my computer that I had never uploaded, which was kind of surprising. One from the 2019 Sioux Falls Air Show, and 2 from a Chicago trip I took in 2019, which led into the Airliners International trip. Before we get into that, though, there was some pretty interesting stuff that arrived in Sioux Falls during the month. We had an Omni Air 777 visit, and also a series of F-5 Aggressor aircraft. Also met the guy that runs the jet tip operation. His name is Nick Menson. It's a really great service. I highly recommend it. It's only $5 a month, so if you are really interested in getting alerts for unique or interesting aircraft at your airport, make sure to sign up for his service. It's really great. I have it myself, and I've been using it for quite a while now, and I've been given a lot of alerts that I probably would have never known about for select interesting aircraft. Then we jump back towards the end of the month. We have the Airliners International 2022 trip. Various videos came out from that trip, including Massive Unboxing number 12 and a trio series of plane spotting videos, including a very fun meetup I had with Red River Aviation, AS Aviation, Alpine Aviation, among many others. I had a really great time there, and I'm really looking forward to next year's event. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. July's kind of the cool down after the Airliners International trip, but we did have a series of unboxings throughout the month. Also, we had the Retro FSD 2000 update, so this officially put this series into motion. And then we also obviously had those Retro FSD acquisitions. The United Express BAE 146 came out before my Retro FSD update, and I also got a Delta Connection Comair CRJ 100. Moving on into August, this is kind of the transition period as I went into my first semester of college. So content starts to slow down here, but there were still a couple videos that came out towards the start of the month. You also had the unboxing for the Panda Sun Country 730-7800. This is towards the end of July. Then you have some other generic stuff that I had. The last unboxing that I filmed before heading up to college was the Northwest Airlines CRJ 200. Towards the end of the month, I made a return to Sioux Falls, as I do visit home on the weekend since it's not far away from me. I went up to the airport to check out a National Airlines Boeing 757-200 arrive in. I believe it was on some type of military charter, but I could not get any further information on that. But it was still really cool to see. Then in September, I made another return to FSD along with various unboxings and fun stuff. Saw some T-38s along with one that has a really cool blue and yellow livery, so they were just stopping by in Sioux Falls for a little bit, so I went out to the airport, caught them all, had a really great time up there. October, nothing too much exciting, just kind of continuing through college, essentially. Did have a fun retro unboxing come out with the Frontier Convair 580 and the Braniff L188 Electra. November, we had our Thanksgiving break, obviously. Again, nothing too crazy over here. But again, we are starting to make those preparations for the upcoming changes and also the very big slew of acquisitions that I'm going to be getting here towards the Christmas holiday season. And then finally, to round out this 2022 recap section of the video, we had Avelo's first landing into Sioux Falls. It was carrying the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens football team, who competed against the South Dakota State University Jackrabbits in the FCS Championship playoffs. I believe it was in the second round series. SDSU would then go on to the quarterfinal to face off Holy Cross, and they have since won that matchup, and they are now going to face against Montana State in the semifinal round. So the winner of that game will go on to the FCS National Championship game, which is in Frisco, Texas. Also had a really fun Sioux Falls Airport update, number 34 for December 2022, talking about some pretty big news. For a new plan to add up to 8 gates at the airport, and then just kind of backtracking a little bit as well since I'm on the topic of news for Sioux Falls. Back in November, I did announce the American mainline service coming in. There was also United Max 9 that I had said that was going to come in, but that never arrived. It was just a 739, so why they even showed that, I don't know. But perhaps it was maybe a swap or something, or they never scheduled to have that happen in the first place, but whatever. Alright, so with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and move on to the outlook for 2023. What is to come for this year? We got quite a lot to talk about here, so we're going to go ahead and start off with some of the big stuff, and then we'll kind of work our way down the ladder here. So first off, as you may know, I very much enjoyed the Airliners International 2022 convention in Chicago, Illinois. That happened in June. Had a really great time over there, meeting a lot of folks, getting a lot of new models, and various other aviation memorabilia throughout the convention. With next year's convention having been announced in Dallas, Texas for around the same dates, it'll be that second to last week of June, I'm excited to announce that I will be attending the Airliners International 2023 convention in Dallas, Texas. I have hinted at this in previous videos, but this is now sort of the official announcement. I will be making a trip down to Dallas, Texas, flying on American Airlines, the mainline service from Sioux Falls to Dallas, which starts in February. I'm very excited about that. Also, another big thing that's come in that I found out recently is that the Sioux Falls Air Show is making a return. July 29th and the 30th of 2023 is when the air show will take place. We'll be featuring the United States Air Force Thunderbirds along with a whole slew of performers. Additional information will likely be announced during the spring, so hopefully I'll have more information on that in the future. Retro FSD will be making a huge comeback throughout 2023. We'll have a series of about 3 or so new updates, and I will be redoing the previous 2 updates I did for 2004 and 2000, just because I'll have a huge batch of acquisitions that is very applicable for the project, so that I can redo those 2 airport updates. Possibly a trip to Minneapolis in the spring. No exact details have been worked out on that yet, but since it's been an annual tradition, we're kind of sort of working on plans to do that, hopefully. Weather permitting, of course, but if not, we may try to do it during the summer, because I think, quite frankly, doing these trips in the winter has become very problematic, including but not limited to winter storms or very cold Arctic blasts. Also, another new form of content that I'm going to be introducing will be Aero Classics release videos. Now, how Aero Classics releases their monthly releases is that they announce them on usually the second Friday of the month at about 6 p.m. Central Time, so it is kind of late by the time that I can get a video out, and I'm not one to just kind of shift that video off into the next day, because at that point everybody will have seen it. So I'm kind of thinking about doing maybe live streams at some point for these Aero Classics release reactions. So if anybody is interested in that, please let me know. Otherwise, I am open to suggestions on how I can do these Aero Classics releases, still get them out at a reasonable time without having to move them over onto the next day. That's pretty much everything on all sorts of new content. I'm sure more will come throughout 2023, so again, if you have any new suggestions for any sort of content that I should add, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, if you don't think I should add anything, then that is perfectly fine. And now we have our big change for the channel. For about 4 years, I have used this as my profile picture, and I figured it would be time to shake things up a little bit. You may now notice that logo in the bottom right corner has disappeared, and that is because I'm officially changing my profile picture for the first time in 4 years. What you see now on your screen are 2 black circles. Each one will represent different types of content, one of which will be used specifically for the ongoing project that I've been embarking on, so you already know where that's going. Our first circle is the new official profile picture for the channel. Huge thanks goes to B767 Aviation for designing this, and also for the second logo that I will be using. This profile picture will appear as my main profile picture on YouTube and will not change for at least another 4 years, perhaps even longer. It'll be used for all content on the channel apart from the aforementioned project, of which I have a specific profile picture for. The design of this doesn't draw away too much from the original profile pic, but it does add a little more depth to it and has a nice style going for it. I love the design on this, and once again, huge thanks to B767 Aviation for designing this. And now, time for the second logo. This one I'm pretty excited about, as it gives off a nice aesthetic vibe. Introducing the logo that will be used primarily in retro FSD airport updates, but will also be used for any retro-related content. The airline that you see represented on this tail is of North Central Airlines, which was a regional airline from the Midwest that had major hubs in Minneapolis and Detroit. Sioux Falls had a massive North Central presence between the late 1950s and up until the Southern Airways merger in 1979, which formed Republic Airlines, and I have grown a strong fascination towards not just the airline, but retro aviation as a whole. While you won't see this be used as a profile picture for the channel, you will see it represented in the new banner I designed for the channel, and it will be featured prominently in the intros of retro FSD airport updates and other retro-related content. Once again, huge shout out to B767 Aviation for designing this new profile picture for my retro content. Please be sure to go check out his work and subscribe to his channel, as his editing is outstanding and has even influenced some of my editing choices in recent videos. And that will do it for this channel update video. Once again, thanks so much for sticking with the channel this year. While it has been a little quiet towards the end, we will be cranking it up a notch as we head into the new year. Keep an eye out for all of the exciting content to come for my Airliners 2023 trip and the Sioux Falls Air Show, among many other things. Also keep an eye out for the next Retro FSD update, which I am planning to have out before the end of the year. I do have plans to visit family though, so it is possible that that update might be delayed. Please stay tuned to my Instagram page for any further updates. I will post them on my story as necessary, but I'm hopeful that I will have enough time to film and edit the update to get that out before I head off to go see family for the long holiday. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and have a healthy and prosperous 2023. And I will see you next year. Have a good one, folks.